it's hard to accept that your kid is likely never going to speak. She can't tell us, or right now she can't tell us any of her favorites. Like, we don't know her favorite color or favorite food, or, you know, like what character she wants for her birthday. We kind of choose all that for her because we don't know, but we know she loves coming here. She makes that abundantly clear.
In the back of your mind, you wonder, how is this going to go?
Abby has a chromosome disorder. She is nonverbal. She has some difficulty walking. She's the only second grader that's not potty trained, but she just is kind of like a toddler skill level, I would say, in a 7-year-old body, and that can be tricky.
I would describe her as tenacious. That's a word that I would use for sure, which we enjoy about her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't use words to communicate. She uses more of kind of like grunting and heavy breathing, but you know when she's happy, you know when she's frustrated, and you know when she's excited to be there.
We live in Fullerton, which is a small town. We plan for a little over 2 hours to get here every week. Her session is only a half an hour, but we've talked about how we would probably drive even farther because how much she loves it. A lot of people in town offer to, we have horses. They always want to help. It's a little different coming here than just riding a horse.
On the back of a horse, there's more to it than that.
There's way more to it than just riding a horse.
There's a lot of thought put into what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, what horse are we going to use, what volunteers are we going to pair with them, and what does that session look like. We're looking at what are the benefits that we are hoping that this participant gains. I always say it's therapy without being therapy, which I think is one of the magical things that happens here.
Abby is really, really motivated by the horse. When I walk her up to the block, I have to hold on to her because at the mounting block, she gets so excited when Waldo's coming around that she practically wants to just dive onto him.
So we found out about HETRA from Brian, and he said this would be great for Abby.
Abby would probably be a good fit for the therapy that they run there. So I had chatted with Laura and talked to her, and she said absolutely that would be something they'd love to try.
We'll try it, but I mean, she's been doing PT, OT, and speech for so long. That isn't really going to make a difference. He actually used memorial money from his dad's funeral to pay for us to come here and did a lot of fundraising. I don't think he had a hard time fundraising because people were like, oh, we know Abby. We know this is a great thing. So they helped with that. And then the community really got involved.
When she first came, she just kind of hung out and she kind of sat and she just smiled. And I remember she just watched the sparrows the whole 30 minutes. Until the very end when I was like, well, let's pick up Waldo's pace a little bit. And so we trotted, and her smile and her face lit up so big. She was just like, wow, this is something new to me. Like, this is so fun. And giggles and giggles and giggles. And so that's when I knew, okay, trotting is definitely going to be a big motivation for her.
Her mobility and her core strength, I think, has grown, where before when she sat on the ground, I feel like she more leaned forward, where now when she sits on the ground, she doesn't want to sit there for a long amount of time, but when she does, I feel like her posture has gotten better.
Riding is very similar to walking, and so we can work on balance and posture and strength and range of motion activities while on the horse. As we overlay other exercises and activities, we see things like improved functional communication. We see following directions and staying on task. We see sensory regulation and self-regulation. Those two, I think, are huge, right? Because if we can't regulate our sensory system, then how are we supposed to interact with the environment around us?
We noticed a big change in her ability to turn and engage with somebody after going to HETRA. It's kind of like whatever skill we kind of set up and build and work on here in the academic setting. It's like she gets to go to HETRA and they help generalize it. They, thinking about like a one finger point. That was really hard. While Abby's mom, Laura, is really good about communicating kind of the things we work on. And so I know that they worked on that directly at HETRA, and we saw a major change and growth in that area for sure.
But since Abby can't talk to me, I decided to try to integrate a button. This button, if you push it, it says walk on. Every time we were gonna go, I'd kind of grab her hand, put it on it, it would say walk on, and then Waldo would walk on. By the second and third lesson, she was purposefully reaching out and was like, walk on, like I know what that means. Her mom told me that since I'd introduced the walk on button to her in lessons, she's understanding what that means. So she told me that at school, they actually introduced a button that says hi.
And having the hi button on her cart has helped people around the school, not even just peers, other staff members, really connect with her. So I think that has helped. Just again, with HETRA, working on that joint attention, she's realizing that other people are around and that she's interested in communicating with them.
She's gotten a lot better about communicating what she wants. Before it was kind of a guessing game, and now she'll, like, if she wants something off the table, she'll grab your arm and kind of point to it.
Before we started coming, she wasn't great with eye contact. Now she has really good eye contact. Like, she looks at Cassidy really well. She looks at her sidewalkers really well. Is making connections with people because she's so motivated on the horse.
You do it long enough like we have, and you see the progress that she's made, that it validates the time that you put into it.
I think we came for a couple months before I stopped crying every time we were here because she was so happy. She is so happy.
Just getting updates on how well things went. We did a second round of fundraising where it was just teachers, some more of my family members, people that just got to see what was going on and how good it was going. With a small community like we have here, everybody's invested in everybody. We just see what matters. We see things that matter. We see people that could benefit from something, and we just do it. Like, there's no reason not to. If you boil it down to it, the work that HETRA does so much good in people's lives, and there's no reason not to help that out. I mean, it's an opportunity to really do some good in the world.